Hey, what's good, people? This is your boy Cincy, aka Mr. Good Vibes, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. With that being said, how is life? How's everything going? My prayer is that the Lord Almighty will continue to protect and guide you in this trading journey and also in life, in the mighty name of Jesus. Now, with that being said, today I'm just going to be jumping straight into it without wasting no time. So last week I dropped a video for you guys, and I mentioned in that video, I said, listen, we're going to be having the job reports we dropped on Friday, and I said if these job reports come stronger than this number, this 212k number, that there's a chance that the market is going to drop. And also we had the unemployment rate that was also dropping, and I said that if this unemployment number drops below 4.2%, then there's a chance that we're also going to have what we call a double whammy in the market. And guess what? The numbers came in higher than expected, and that is exactly what happened to the market on Friday. The market fell significantly. Again, good data has now become bad data. And why is that? And that is because the Feds are looking for every reason not to cut rates. For every good data they get, they believe the economy is strong enough that this is a sign that the economy does not need any rate cuts currently. And the market does not seem to like that, because that was not what we were initially promised. So as you guys can see, let's just quickly dive into the charts. And you can see that on the chart, I'm just going to bring you guys back a little bit so that we know where we're coming from. This was the FOMC meeting that we had last year, when the Fed initially announced that they're going to be cutting rates from 5 to 2. And what happened from that point, we had this significant drop, found support, which was the previous support at this point, found support, which is this yellow line. And we saw this relief rally over the break, which I actually warned in my video and said I personally do not trust this rally, that this rally could represent a bull trap, which means it's a trap it's a setup to trap the bulls, right? Those who believe the market is going up. Now I drew this trend line, and what I figured out was that this trend line was acting as a resistance. So every time we hit this trend line, the market would tend to pull back, maybe hit this support at some point, which was kind of like forming a double bottom. But guess what? This time around, we went back again, hit that trend line, and this time around we dropped below the previous support, which means that the market is now beginning to form what I call lower highs, which means there was a high right there and there was another high right there. So you can see this getting lower, and we're beginning to form lower lows, which means there was a low right there, and there's a chance that we're beginning to form another low right there. Now, for those of you who don't know, I typically use the SPX500, the NAS 100, and the US 30 to do my analysis, so that way I can have an idea of where the US market is going to be going in the future. So these are going to be the 3 major indexes I'm going to be looking at today. In addition to this, I'm also going to be analyzing the Bitcoin, just to see where that is also going in the future, as I believe they are all related together, because the economic data now seems to matter for all these assets. Now, with that being said, I developed a spreadsheet. I'm going to put that spreadsheet real quick. So for those of you who have been following me, I developed a spreadsheet, and in that spreadsheet I mentioned a couple of things that I'll be looking at. So I'll be looking at my indicators, but my indicators are going to be analyzed both on daily chart and on the weekly chart. And also I have what I call X and O. You can see this is green and this is red. So the green simply means buy indicator. So if this indicator is indicating a buy, I simply just come to my Excel and mark that indicator as 1. And if this indicator was indicating a sell, I simply just come here and mark it as 1 on the red side, which indicates a sell. And at the end of the day, once I finish doing my analysis, top-down analysis from my weekly to my daily, I then sum up all the numbers and see what direction do I think this is favoring. So if the indicator is favoring the red side, you're going to get more numbers on the red side, which would mean this is a bullish trend. It's a bearish trend. But if you get more numbers on the green side, then that will indicate more of a bullish or buy trend. So you can see my last update that I did on these 3 indexes. You can see the numbers that we are currently seeing. We saw 15 bearish signals with respect to 8 bullish signals for the SPX500, and I saw 12 bearish signals with respect to 10 bullish signals for the NASDAQ 100, and 15 bearish signals with respect to 7 bullish signals for the US 30. So now I'm going to take you guys to the chart real quick, and let's just quickly do a quick update and see where exactly we are with respect to the SPX500. Now, if you look at the SPX500, I look at what I call my primary indicators and my secondary indicators. My primary indicators are typically on the chart, right? And the secondary indicators are the ones that typically go below the chart. So you can see on the chart here, we see my S sign and my red arrow. And then what this simply means, it means this is a sell signal. So the S here represents the ASGMA indicator, and this red arrow represents the SSL. So if I pull up my Excel, you can see that on my Excel for the daily, what am I saying? You can see that the SSL for the ASGMA for the SPX is currently a sell. You can see it's currently a sell. So you can see it's currently a sell, and the SSL too is currently a sell. So what do? I simply just want to come to my chart and update this and put the ASGMA as 1 for sell and put the SSL here as 1 for sell. Now the next one is Ichimoku. Now if this was a buy, before I move to the Ichimoku, if this was a buy, we would get a B sign and a green arrow. Hope I'm communicating right. So now with the Ichimoku, you can see the Ichimoku is this green cloud. So all you need to understand is that whenever the price is above the Ichimoku, then that is more of a bullish signal. But if the price is below the Ichimoku, then that is more of a bearish signal, right? So you can see the Ichimoku currently, I shared it 1 and 1 before, and that was because the price was actually inside the Ichimoku at one point. So you can see the price was in the Ichimoku, which means a neutral move. But you can see as of last week, when we had that significant drop in the market, what happened was I saw that now the price is now beginning to trade below the Ichimoku, which is why I came here, and I'm going to take this one away and leave that one for the bearish side for the Ichimoku. The next one is the baseline. So what is the baseline? The baseline is these 3 moving averages, this red, these 2 red moving averages, and this yellow one. You can see that the price now is beginning to trade below those 3 major baselines or moving averages. If the price was above my moving average in this case, and that's going to be more of a bullish signal. So but because the price is now below the 3 of them, I'm going to come down here and mark my baseline as a bearish signal. Let me simply close this as a bearish signal. Now the SMI1 and SMI2, these are secondary indicators that are below the chart. So if I was to zoom out a little bit, you can see that I have some indicators below my chart. So if I was to expand this, what you see is that you see two lines. You see a green line and a red line. If the green line is above the red line, then that is a bullish signal. However, if the red line is above the green line, then that is more of a bearish or sell signal. So you can see the current signature is the red above the green, which represents a sell. So I simply come here and mark this SMI1 on the sell side, right? Now the SMI2, again, the SMI has 2 different interpretations. So that's the first interpretation. The second interpretation on the SMI is very simple, and it's this line right there. So we have this overbought line, and we have this oversold line, and we have this 0 line. So again, if you are above that 0 line, then that is a bullish signal or buy signal. But if you happen to be below that 0 line, then that's more of a bearish signal in this case. So you can see the fact that I'm getting these 2 signals below the 0 line, and that is even more of a bearish signal than we expect. So I'm getting a bearish signal in a bearish environment. Hope I'm communicating. So I simply just come here and mark this SMI2 as a bearish on the bearish side on my Excel. So you can see how I'm updating this. Now the next one is the DD. So I come again back to my chart. The DD, if I minimize this, the DD is going to be below that one, and you can see the DD is a 1 line cross, which means I have a 0 line and I have a signal line, which is the green line. The 0 line is the white line. So if the signal line is above the 0 line, then that is a bullish signal. But if the signal line is below the 0 line, then that is a bearish signal. So you can see the current signal line is below my 0 line, which means this is a bearish move. So I simply just come to my DD and mark that as a bearish. So you can see the 1 will go to the bearish side. Now the mark D1, very simple. It's very, very similar to the SMI because it does have 2 interpretations. So the mark D1 is this one. And again, how does this work? Just pay attention to the color. The current color is a red. If it's a red color, then it's a sell or bearish signal. If it's a green color, then it's more of a bullish or buy signal. So the fact that it's a red color, that means it's a bearish signal. Now the other thing you also have to pay attention to is we have the overbought line and the oversold line. You can see, but now the other thing you notice is there's a zero line. So you can see that the bar is below the zero line. You know, if the bar was above the zero line, then that would be more of a buy signal. But the fact that this bar is below the zero line, then that is more of a bearish signal. Again, a bearish signal in a bearish environment. So I simply just come to my Excel and I'm just going to mark this one. I'm going to take this one and just put it on the bearish side, because not only that, I'm now getting the red color for the bars, which is one bearish signal, and I'm also getting that bar below zero, which is another bearish signal. The next one is the TSI. The TSI again is the one that is below, it's the indicator that is below this one, and it's this indicator. Again, it's very simple. It's a zero line. If the signal line is below zero on the negative side, then that is going to be more of a bearish signal or a sell signal. If this signal was above the zero line, then that's going to be more of a bullish signal in this case. So the fact that we are getting the signal line below the zero line, and that is a bearish signal, I simply just come to my Excel and I want to mark my TSI on the bearish side. Now the ASH is the one that follows right below it, and if I minimize this and go to the ASH, you can see that this is the ASH. Again, two line cross. If it's the green above the red, then that is a bullish or a buy signal. But the fact that we're getting a red above the green, then that is more of a sell or a bearish signal. So we simply just come to my Excel and just mark one for the bearish side. So you can see we are done doing the daily, and the next thing we want to do is we want to take a look at the weekly. So we come down to my chart one more time. I'm going to minimize this, and I just simply click on this W. So again, each one of these single candle represents one day, but if I click on the week, then each one of these candle represents 1 week. So let's zoom out a bit and see what this is saying. So you can see for the weekly, we do the exact same interpretation that I just did for the daily. No more, no less. Again, we start to look at it. My ASGMA is saying it's a sell, and my SSL is saying it's also going to the downward direction. So what do? I simply come to my Excel and I want to make sure that my ASGMA and my SSL are marked on the bearish side. The next one is the Ichimoku. So as you guys know, the Ichimoku, I want to make sure that my Ichimoku, you know, the price, if the price is above the cloud, then that is a bullish signal. But if the price is below the cloud, then that is more of a bearish signal. So you can see the price is still above the Ichimoku, which is why I came here and I marked the Ichimoku on the green side, which is more of a bullish on the bullish side. The next one is the baseline. Remember, my baseline, very simple interpretation. If the price is below all my moving averages, again, which is this two red and this yellow, and that is a bearish signal. But if the price was above my moving averages, like you see in this case, or like you see in a case like this, you can see, right? And that is more of a bullish signal. But the fact that this price is below my three moving averages, and this is more of a bearish or sell signal. So I simply just come to my Excel and want to make sure that I mark the bearish side of my baseline weekly. The SMI, again, very simple, the same interpretation. Let's minimize this and take a look at some of the secondary chart below and the secondary indicators below. So you can see my SMI, the red is above the green. That is a bearish signal or sell signal, but you can see that these signal lines are still above zero. So what do? We're going to share this one. So we simply come to this and we're going to give one to the bearish side and give one to the bullish side for the SMI, right? Hope I'm communicating. The next one is the DD. The DD, let's see what the DD is saying. The DD is the one directly below it. Again, it's a signal line against the zero line. If the signal line is below the zero line or on the negative side, and that is a bearish or a sell signal. So simply just make sure we come down here and we're going to mark the bearish side for DD as bearish. Again, very, very simple. MACD, the MACD is again very similar to the SMI with two interpretations. And what are we looking at? We're looking at two things: the color of the bar and where exactly it is. Is it above the zero line or is it below the zero line? So you can see we have a red bar, but this is above the zero line. So which means we have one bullish case and one bearish case. So the bullish case is the fact that the bar is above zero, but the bearish case here is the fact that this color is actually red. So you want to simply mark this one. You're going to share the mark this. So you have one for the bullish side, which is the green side, and one for the bearish side, which is the red side. The next one is the TSI. I simply come to my chart one more time, take a look at my TSI, and you can see that the TSI is this one. And you can see you want the signal line to be on the negative side if it's bearish, and above the zero line if it's bullish. So you can see it's currently on the negative side because that is bearish. I simply just come to my Excel and make sure this part is marked as bearish. And the last one on the weekly is the ASH. And the ASH is very, very simple. All you need to know is that we're looking at the crossover in this case, and you can see this week we're beginning to see a bearish crossover. Wow, we are getting the full-on bearish cocktail on the SPX500, or what I call a quadruple combo. Now, so I come down here and see, before it was actually bullish, so I'm just simply going to take this and move this to the next side, and you can see now we're getting 19 bearish signal for the SPX and only 3 bullish signal for my top down analysis. So you can see this is a non-biased way of looking at the market. So again, you can see that the bears are still in complete domination of this market. So if you can remove all the biasness from your body and believe that this is definitely going to be a market that's most likely going to be going down in the next few days. You can see, so I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it for the Nasdaq and the US data. I'm going to do that behind closed doors on my own, just to see where we are. But you can see the fact that this SPX is currently showing me this huge number of bearish signals is a little bit concerning for me. All right, so again, just make sure you note that. So the next one I want to take a look at is crypto. I just want to take a look at Bitcoin real quick and see what Bitcoin is doing. So I'm going to click on the crypto tab. Hope I'm communicating with you guys and understand what I'm doing. I'm going to go to the crypto tab. Again, it's the same exact indicators. I just simply come to my chart one more time, and I'm just going to go to the crypto BTCUSD. Very, very simple. And we're going to start with the daily. So where's BTCUSD? So you can see BTCUSD is right there. So let's just start with the daily, because we need to see what's going on with Bitcoin as well. So you can see with Bitcoin, again, we have the red arrow and the S sign. So on the daily chart, we want to make sure that we are marking those on the bearish side. So you can see the ASGMA and the SSL are currently on the bearish side. The next one is the Ichimoku. And what is the Ichimoku currently telling me? So you can see the price is currently inside the cloud. Again, when I see it inside the cloud, this is more of a neutral move. So I don't necessarily give benefits to the bullish or the bearish side. So I just give both of them one and one, just to kind of like make sure that that balances out. So if you come down to my Excel, I'm just going to mark the Ichimoku, one for the bullish side and one for the bearish side. The next one is the baseline. What is the baseline telling me? My baseline, you can see my price is actually below my moving averages. So I know for sure that this is favoring more of the bears or the bearish signal. So I simply come to my Excel and mark the baseline one on the bearish side. The next one is the SMI1 and the SMI2. As you guys know, these are my secondary interpretations. And if I was to zoom out, you can see that the chart below the ones below my chart, that's the ones I'm focusing on. So you can see if I see a red above the green, then that is a bearish signal. And also you can see that these signal lines are also below the zero line, so that is even more of a bearish signal. So again, I come down here simply and mark both SMI1 and SMI2 on the bearish side. All right, the next one is the DD. So I want to take a look at my DD, and my DD is the one below it. And you can see if I minimize this, you can see that the DD, again, the signal line, if it's below the zero line, then that is more of a bearish signal. If it's actually below, then that's more of a bullish signal. So you can see the current BTC is on the negative side, so I know that that is a bearish signal. So I simply come to my Excel and make sure I mark the DD on the bearish side. Now the Mark D1 and the Mark D2 is going to be the one I'm taking a look at, Mark D1 and Mark D2. You can see that the Mark D1 is actually, I'm getting the red color, and not only that, the red color is actually below my zero signal again. So the fact that it's below my zero signal is telling me that this is a double whammy. So I'm getting both bearish for the color, and I'm getting another bearish signal, the fact that the bar is actually below zero. So I simply come to my Excel and make sure that my Mark D, I'm marking both of them on the bearish side. So you can see now, before it was on the positive side, now because this is currently on the bearish side, let's take a look at that again. So you can see it's below my zero line on the daily chart. So I want to make sure that that is completely correct. So I want to mark that 1 and 1 for the Mark D. The next one is the TSI. I take a look at the TSI. You can see if I minimize this, the TSI is the one below. You can see the TSI is currently below my zero line on the negative side. So yes, this is definitely going to be a bearish signal. And the ASH is the one directly below my TSI, and let's see what that is telling me. You can see that my ASH, the red is above the green, and that is the sell signal for BTC. So you want to make sure that this too is also favoring the bearish side. Now we're going to take a look at the weekly real quick, just to round up this video. And you can see I click on the weekly, and it's very, very simple. The first thing I'm taking a look at again is my SSL and my ASG, and it's a red arrow and the S sign. So I simply come to my Excel and make sure that these two guys are marked on the bearish side. The next one is the Ichimoku. Remember what I said, if the price is above the Ichimoku, then that is a bullish signal, and the only time it's bearish is when the price is below the Ichimoku. So you can see the price is still above the Ichimoku in this case. So I'm definitely going to come to my Excel and mark the Ichimoku as 1. Sorry about that, on the weekly, 1 on the weekly. Now the baseline on the other end, we want to make sure that all the prices are below my baseline. So you can see my price is still above the 3 moving averages on the weekly. So I want to come down to my Excel and mark the baseline as 1 on the bearish side. Now SMI1 and SMI2, you already know the drill. Take a look at these. We're going to zoom out to look at the secondary indicators, and you can see once I minimize or maximize these, you can see the red is above the green. That is a bearish signal, but these signal lines are actually above 0, so that is representing more of a bullish. So I get more of a bearish signal in a bullish environment for this interpretation. So I simply just come down here and I want to mark 1 for the bearish and 1 for the bull side for the SMI. The DD on the other hand, let's see what the DD is telling me. So if I minimize this, take a look at the DD. So you can see the DD, wow, look at the DD on the weekly on BTC. The weekly is currently below 0. It's actually showing that it's below 0. So I simply just come to my Excel and take my DD and put it on the bearish side. Very, very simple. Mark D on the other hand, again, we're just going to this is the TSI. I made a mistake. This is the let's take a look at DD. This is the DD. So you can see the DD is this is the DD now. The DD is actually below the 0 line, so definitely a bearish signal. So the next one is the Mark D. The Mark D is this one. You can see the Mark D. We have green colors, but above 0. Again, bullish, bearish signal, but still in that bullish environment, right? So we simply just come here and mark D 1 for bearish and mark 1 for bullish. The TSI on the other hand, remember, like I showed you guys, it's beginning to turn bearish. Again, this is telling that Bitcoin is getting more and more bearish indicators. So you can see the current one is beginning to go below the 0 line. So it's only fair if I come down here and change this TSI and move it to the bearish side. Now the ASH again is very, very simple interpretation. Let's take a look at the ASH. You can see the green is still above the red, so we're going to leave this as a bullish or buy signal in this case. Now, so that's definitely going to be on the bullish side. So I like to change the color of my instruments once I get a confirmation. So you can see I'm getting 17 bearish signals for BTC and only 6 bullish signals for BTC. So again, I do believe that BTC2 is supposed to be on a watch list of potential price going to the downside. So you also have to be very, very careful with BTC. And now I'm only going to start going bullish on this instrument if only I start to see a reversal in this number. But with this current status, or with this current calculations that I'm seeing, this is telling me both the market and the Bitcoin market is definitely in for some downward movement. And the BTC or Bitcoin is like the main index that controls all other coins. So if BTC is dropping, then you know that the likes of Ethereum, Solana, and all those other meme coins that we all like Doge, Shiba Inu, and Pepe will also continue to drop downwards. Again, this is simply how I do my own interpretation. I try not to complicate it. I try to keep it as simple as possible, and I just simply follow this plan and only make my moves or my reversal moves whenever I see a change in those numbers. I hope I'm making sense. I hope this is working out for you guys. I hope you guys are able to kind of learn from this. Again, this is your boy Cincy, aka Mr. Good Vibes, and let's make some small money together, even if it's just a little.